Too many Lunas. Moon. Her bright blue eyes scanned over the page with a soft hum of thought.
Can it be that easy?
It may have been wiser for her had she but realized that things that look too easy may at times be exactly that. She swept a hoof over the page.
I can banish away the parts that I do not favor, giving room for those that I do to flourish and grow stronger.
Normal ponies would have seen a therapist and just worked on their failings, but Luna was not normal. She had the means and the ability, so she would fix it, even if it was herself. Besides, that pony her sister had suggested always gave her that funny look.
Stop judging me.
She huffed, sitting up properly.
I will address this my way, and it will be resolved, and that will be that.
She clapped her hooves with a satisfied look on her face.
And none can tell me not to.
Her horn began to glow softly as she performed the spell, runes dancing and flowing in the air with the power of it.
Now to focus on what I would exercise. I am no fool, so no more needless excitement over these smaller things.
The runes shifted, some glowing all the more intensely.
I am more than the moon. I am the mistress of the night. I watch over dreams and I keep ponies safe.
Other runes shifted, the glowing intensifying by the moment.
I am every bit as respectable as sister mine, capable of holding myself with royal refinement.
The runes twisted about her, threads of power running away from her towards them, drawing away those undesired parts of her personality in theory. She would reshape herself into the very image of what she desired. Oh, how marvelous it would be! One of the runes contracted and another bent around. The two came together before Luna's fascinated eyes. Was that part of the spell? It had to be. The two parts slotted together, becoming a sphere that darkened to a deep purple, like her own pelt. Then, two eyes opened, blinking at her.
Moon!
Squealed the strange little ball, little wings unfurling from its mass and a great big smile on its face.
Moon!
Other runes began to come together, forming more and more of those strange spherical little ponies, each of them sporting her mane cut in the color of her eyes. But the similarities ran a bit dry after that.
Huzzah!
Cried another, bouncing left and right in chorus with four others that seemed eager to join the dance.
The fun has been doubled!
Another four landed in front of the first set and they all burst into giggles, finding their shenanigans quite enjoyable to themselves. It was a shame that Luna didn't share in their joy. She didn't feel different at all, she was no more stately. She was still Luna, surrounded by a little simulacrum.
I command you all to stop! Moon?
Several of them were watching her, their eyes shining with expectation, but what were they hoping for? Luna then rose to her hooves.
I am Princess Luna. Luna. Moon!
Cried another, prompting a wild fit of bouncing and cheers, the crowd apparently quite happy with the title of Moon for Luna. She looked over her shoulder at the sound of something shattering. One of those little round lunalets had knocked over one of her vases, shattered onto the floor.
This is unacceptable.
She huffed, her wings flaring, which only inspired so many of them to spread their much smaller wings apart.
At the least, you could have taken what I wanted away.
But she felt the same. She was Luna, surrounded by the round balls.
Huzzah!
Cried one, popping out from the pile, thumping its head against the great ball it had found. The others gasped with joy and began to leap for it, a rough and tumble game that seemed to have no particular rules, breaking out enthusiastically as they struggled to get the ball somewhere. It seemed to waver between one side of the room and the next. If there were rules, Luna couldn't determine what they were. Up until one little lunalet knocked it down into one of her trash bins, and the entire room became a chorus of cheers.
How many points do I receive?
Enthusiastically asked one that had performed the successful goal. Luna went dark in her cheeks, remembering when last that she uttered those words. That was not one of her high points.
I command you all to stop!
She boomed with a royal canterlot voice. It was almost surprising that it worked. All the little round things landed on their bottoms, looking up at her expectantly.
Very good, yes.
She cleared her throat into an upraised hoof.
Now then, since you are here, I must accept responsibility.
Sure, they were magically created life forms, but they were her magically created life forms. She would not be seen as an irresponsible magic user.
Do you have a name?
They glanced at one another, questions asked in soft mutters that were hard to hear until one bounced to the front.
Moon. Moon!
cried the rest in agreement, bobbing their heads as if it was just that obvious that moon had been the proper answer to the question. As if in celebration, they closed around her. She recoiled in fear, but that proved to be unneeded as they came in to nuzzle and nestle with her, more and more closing in around her to get closer to their progenitor. She was soon buried in a pile of cooing little lunalets.
I see.
She did not see. Not at all. She could but sink into her belly, careful not to squash them on the way.
There must be some way. Sister?
A knock came from her door. A sleepy-sounding Celestia spoke through it.
I heard you shouting. Is everything alright?
Luna tensed with a new source of worry.
Fear not, sister. All is well. Huzzah!
Cried one of her little creations.
Sister! Sister, sister!
They began to cry in a loose chorus, bouncing forwards towards the door that separated them from Celestia.
What is that?
Came her muffled voice, the doorknob glowing golden with her magic.
Are you alright?
The door was already starting to open. Luna threw a hoof forwards, dark magic shoving against the door, denying the chance for her little doppelgangers to make an escape.
I'm just fine. Sister dear, I know you're hiding something.
Still, her golden magic retreated.
If you want to talk, I'm here.
A soft yawn could be heard.
No matter the time of night.
Luna cringed softly, imagining her tired sister trying to lend support despite it.
I do verily appreciate your concern, sister mine. It is most treasured.
She put a hoof at her chest.
But I am fine. Then you won't mind.
In that moment of dropped guard, Celestia casually brushed the door open.
Sister? Sister? Moon?
The round little lunalets rushed at the open door at the Sun Princess beyond it, gazing up at her with obvious wonder. One stuck their tongue out at her.
I am the Princess of the Night.
Celestia blinked softly as she was swarmed by the things.
Sister, what is going on?
Luna huffed softly.
That was most unkind. I thought you were respecting my privacy.
Celestia gestured around the little balls that vaguely simulated her sister.
Luna, dear, explain this, please. Is this what had you shouting so loudly? I have it all under control.
Lied Luna.
Moonies, assemble.
She pointed with authority at the ground before her. As much to her own surprise, they began to gather right where she pointed, accepting the title that she had just invented for them.
See? There are no issues here.
Celestia's magic glowed, plucking one little moonie that had snuck into her mane at some point. She kicked the door shut behind her as she entered Luna's room.
Sister, pardon me if I'm mistaken, but I do not think that this is how you intended to spend your evening.
She placed the round ball with its friends, where they began to bounce about, forgetting the command to be still.
I was performing an experiment.
That wasn't a complete lie.
To focus on the negative aspects of my being.
Also true.
So I could face them.
Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad, right? Celestia raised a brow at that.
I see.
She leaned down, her snout even with the little bouncy fur balls.
Little Moonies, who's your favorite pony in the entire world?
They tilted left and right, different ones at different times before they all twirled at once to face Luna.
Moon!
They all cried in chorus, in firm agreement. Celestia smiled gently.
Well then, we have something in common. Moon is my favorite as well.
Luna blushed softly.
Stop that!
She looked over to Celestia.
Sister, you are obviously tired. Not too
She paused to cover a yawn.
tired to help my sister. We were driven apart once by my not taking the time my little sister needed. Never again.
Luna shuffled awkwardly in place.
Sister, Thank you.
She smiled timidly.
But I'm not a fool. I appreciate your care deeply and truly, but I am not a fool. When we're both old and wrinkled, I will still worry for you.
She moved to touch noses with Luna gently.
I will always be your older sister. And I love you, Luna.
Luna huffed softly, ears splaying off the sides in shameful submission.
That you are, sister mine.
She took a slow and deep breath, her side swelling a moment.
Very. Well, since I will not send you to bed until this is resolved,
She gestured at the many Moonies.
I would banish them, but would prefer not to harm them. No way that you can do both of these things?
Celestia considered the balls that were busy playing tug-of-war with the tassel that led to the curtains.
They are formed partially of you, sister, but they are becoming their own thing.
She raised the hoof to her chin.
Have you considered letting them help you? Help me?
Luna frowned at the idea.
They can barely occupy my room without making a mess. How would they assist me? They can keep ponies company when you are too busy.
She suggested.
Nothing complex, but having something soft and warm that only wishes them the best may just be what some ponies need.
She leaned forward a little, a soft smile forming.
I should imagine some would be quite pleased to embrace a small rounded form of their favorite princess.
Luna's cheeks lit up brightly.
You jest. I do not.
Celestia gently batted away one Moony that had been about to go after some jewelry.
Now you will need to train them, but in this I think that they will listen. Little helpers in the dreaming world. Doesn't that sound exciting? Huzzah! The fun has been doubled!
Several bounced back and forth, apparently happy with what they heard. Luna inclined her head faintly to the left.
Sister mine, your idea is strange, but perhaps not entirely impossible.
She raised a hoof to her chin, considering all the Moonies.
Will you all listen to help other ponies get all the help that they need?
Great cheers erupted as they gathered around Luna, bouncing up and down against her. Luna turned away from her sister.
For this, sister mine, I truly will require my own space. And in this,
Half sang Celestia with a smile.
I will away, back to rest. Perhaps I'll see you there, or one of your little helpers.
She trotted from the room with a soft little yawn, though confident that her sister would have things well in hoof. Equestria would never be exactly the same, but there were few complaints about it in the end. Cute stories like these can never really get old. You have a good laugh, your heart swells up with sweetness, it's everything that you could really ask for. Now let's head on over to our super sweet donators. Top donators: Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, Darkside, and Ponyman. CourierCruz CI, Strix, Zar630, Delta Omega, RuneScyther9852, dospo, Rhiny Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Roland, Secret Moon, Tall Russia, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brother and Mordred, Cerberus, Goulash Eating Hazar, Ronin Wandering, Enderai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, Tealca Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Raquel, Mr. ECU, Leslie Prickett, Edgar Garcia, and One Kingdom 1. Thank you all very much for watching this video, live life to the fullest, and get your own little Luna ball today.